What's up? Welcome back into another mock draft here on the FanTC Podcast Network YouTube page. My name is Kody. I guess I don't really introduce myself at the beginning of most videos, but I'll be taking us through this mock draft today. We got a 12-team half PPR league. This one we're recording Wednesday evening. It's going to be coming out Thursday morning. So, Kareem Hunt hasn't signed anywhere. Dalvin Cook, I don't believe signed anywhere still. That's an incredible story. I thought he was on the verge of signing 2 weekends ago. Now he's still not signed. So, interesting story there, but still kind of in the same state as we have been. Obviously, we hope a lot of these people get signed or at least get placed to a certain degree before draft season is fully here, and we can get a couple mock drafts out with updated rankings with those guys and updated ADPs. But let's jump into this one. We're going to be going from the 10 spots a day. If you haven't, make sure to check out the YouTube, obviously on the YouTube. Check out the TikTok, check out Twitter, check out Facebook, Instagram. We'll be posting a lot of short form content on those kind of channels, as well as, like on Twitter, I guess X and Facebook, a lot of just written out communication and stuff like that. So I think a pretty standard first 9 went here. We have the top 7, Bijan, Stephon Diggs. I think that's the way that I'd go about it just about every time. When I'm on this turn, when I'm at this point in the draft, CD, AJ don't really excite me as much. Devontae Adams does. But my issue is I know what I'm going to be able to do here, most likely. So I'm going to go Saquon Barkley. Oh, I'm not going to be able to do it. Nick Chubb goes right off the board. A lot of times Nick Chubb falls back around to that 2.3 spot. I know CeeDee Lamb's still on the board, but I think Devontae Adams is probably still one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. And I feel like as much as you could say Derek Carr helped his season last year, I think he helped Derek Carr much more than the other way around. I think Jimmy G's going to be fine. I think maybe his average depth of target will come down a little bit, maybe not as many deep bombs, but he's going to get so much opportunity that I will take Devontae Adams all day, especially if he slips and you can get him in the middle of the second or anything like that. That is an absolute steal. All right. Okay, if I'm drafting in the third and Devontae Smith or T. Higgins falls all the way back around to me, that's an instant snag. I love Devontae Smith in this situation. Devontae Adams, Devontae Smith as my wide receiver 1 and 2. I will take that all day. And now this is a little bit of a trickier situation. Do we want to go Aaron Jones, who I think has the guaranteed opportunity in Green Bay, or do I want to go with the young upside in Jahmyr Gibbs? Or do I want to go Calvin Ridley, a guy I've been excited about? Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen is still out there. Let's go Keenan Allen. Let's build the team around a strong wide receiving core. It seems to be – I don't build too many balanced teams, it seems like, in these things. I tend to go either wide receiver heavy or running back heavy, depending on what side of the draft that I'm on. But I knew that I was going to be able to have some of these guys I kind of like fall back around to me. We've seen a pretty big wide receiver run go there in the 5th. So, if I take Gibbs there, I miss out on all these guys most likely, and I'm stuck with like a Chris Godwin, who I'm not that excited about. But right here we have Devontae. We had Devontae and Devontae. Is it Devonta? I don't know. Devontae Adams, Devonta Smith, maybe. Keenan Allen, Saquon Barkley. To that core, because I think I'm going to go two running backs here. I love this 5-6 turn of these running backs that fall here. I'm going to go Dameon Pierce just to switch up the drafting a little bit and take a guy. I think him and Cam Akers have very similar situations. And then it's just a joke. Alexander Mattison and James Conner fell back around to me. Wow. I was pretty excited about Alexander Mattison and just his opportunity, but if you have not checked out our running back disagreement episode on the Fantasy Football Podcast, I would check that out. Nick spells out a lot of bad stuff about Alexander Mattison, kind of pushes me off of him a little bit more. So right there, I'm ecstatic with the way this draft is starting out. I get 3 good running backs, 3 good wide receivers. Now I get to spend the rest of the draft just building around that core. Quarterback we're going to punt on to a certain extent. Probably not going to pick one up to the 9-10 turn. Tight end, I don't mind Ingram, but I only really love drafting Ingram if I'm stacking him with Trevor Lawrence. So this late, when we got established wide receivers like that, I'm going to take a guy who has breakout potential. I'm going to go Jordan Addison and see if he can really snag that wide receiver 2 role in Minnesota. And then on the way back around, I'm going to snag James Cook, another guy who I like quite a bit. I think that has the opportunity to okay, actually, a bad note on James Cook, and then the good note. The bad note is I believe he hasn't had a single goal line opportunity all training camp. That is terrifying. Latavius Murray's probably going to be the goal line back mixed in with Damian Harris. But in half PPR to be riding the bench, you never know with injuries. I just think James Cook has the potential to really outperform his ADP by quite a bit. Whereas I think these other guys like Latavius Murray and Damian Harris are, if they don't get in the end zone, they're most likely dudding you every single week. And I don't necessarily want that kind of volatility. So I'm going to go James Cook. That gives me 4 wide receivers and 4 running backs I'm ecstatic with. Now I really just need to lock in quarterback and tight end. Pretty easy for me on the quarterback front. I will just go ahead and take Kirk Cousins, Mr. Consistency. He's basically the streaming quarterback. You don't necessarily have to stream. You can feel pretty, okay about playing him each and every week. And then I'm going to take Elijah Moore. Okay, so this is where I get a little bit questionable about drafting Jameson Williams. Is he's going to be down here? I'm not going to want to drop a RB1 of another potential RB1, a guy I have a lot of faith in. If there's a guy hot and heavy off the waiver wire, I just don't like having that clog in Jameson Williams on my roster. So that's where I'm going to go Elijah Moore, unless I'm in a super deep league or any kind of mini dynasty or anything. Jameson Williams is kind of off my board. Maybe you try and trade for him a couple weeks into his suspension if the manager who drafted him isn't off to too hot of a start, something like that. But I don't necessarily love drafting Jameson Williams to know I'm going to have to hold him. For me at this point, we're fully punted on tight end. We could not care less. We're going to take Sky Moore, and then at the tight end position, who is left for us? A bunch of garbage. Can you see my fucking cat in the video? Oh yeah, you can. Here you go. Okay. Who do I want? Who do I want? Who do they play week 1? Play Tennessee week 1. Screw it. Why not? We're just going to draft Taysom Hill for the fun of it. Would never recommend punting that hard on tight end. I still think there's a little bit of value having a Freiermuth and Njoku or Evan Ingram, but I clearly did, and I didn't have too much of a choice on who I was going to draft down there. I don't know if I really would take Taysom Hill in a real draft. It's kind of just a mock, ha-ha thing. I think I'd probably – I don't know. I don't know how I change this up too much. Maybe instead of Cousins here, I maybe could have gone in a Conquo or Kincaid. Oh, I mean, so here I could have went in Conco or in Cade. Yeah, that's probably where the Elijah Moore pick. I probably should have went with the Dalton Kincaid because I don't mind taking the shot super late in drafts on him. I probably would do that if I could go back, and then with this last pick, just take one of these random guys. So that's probably the only thing I changed. I'm not too upset with that draft. Like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. Again, these are getting pretty short because we're kind of getting pretty good down to just a consensus group of guys that we like at each spot in the draft. Hopefully you're following around with that trend. Hopefully that trend works out in actual fantasy football this year. But check out all the other content, YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Instagram Reels, X, if you